Today we tackle the not so fun stuff with one of these cars. This video I want to serve as a reminder for us to do the little things to your car that need to be done so that you can enjoy it. That may sound obvious, but trust me, it's not always so obvious. Yeah, as you can see, not fun. We got a brake booster, master cylinder, universal joints, Freon, and a condenser. There's actually a lot more parts coming, hopefully from LMR today. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys what those are just in case we don't get them in. So we also have window motors coming for the Carbon Fox, and we also have some cheap speakers I got from Amazon. I think they're Kenwoods though. Some speakers to go in the dash and in the door of this car because the only speakers that I have right now are in the rear. Here's what I want to talk about in today's video. Guys, so many times the little things are what keep us from driving our cars. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm telling you now, but I'm also the worst about getting it done. Even though I know that's the case and I have proven it time and time again to myself, I still don't want to do it. So let's go over a few of the issues that we've got with the Carbon Fox that need to be fixed. Obviously you saw that we have a brake booster and master cylinder. The brakes on this car are horrible. You have to stand on them to get them to work, so I assume the brake booster is probably shot. Even if not, we're going to go ahead and replace it, and we're going to go ahead and put a new master cylinder on here as well. Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but I pulled the condenser out of this car to verify that that was the cooling issue, and it was. The condenser in this car was clogged up. Here it is actually. Condenser was so clogged up that it was restricting airflow. As you can see, we had some new universal joints. This car has a slight vibration in it at speed, and it could be the wheels are out of balance, but I got a pretty good feeling that this car is probably going to need some universal joints. Even if that's not the case, it's good to go ahead and replace. Then we're going to work on the radio. We're going to put speakers in this thing and some nice window motors that'll go up and down with no problems. You guys see the big picture here? We want to get in this car and drive it and enjoy it, not tolerate it. I'm going to go ahead and knock it out, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion of whether I can tell a difference in the car, whether it is more fun to drive, the intangibles, I guess. There's just some things with a car that you can't put your finger on, but it makes it better. So let me go ahead and start knocking some of this stuff out, and I'll show you a little bit along the way, then we'll talk about it after we're done. So we got the brake booster done, and I made a post on Instagram asking you guys who can get to that top bolt on the inside of the car under the dash on the brake booster. I got it, but it sucks. It just sucks. I mean, you pretty much got to be Harry Potter to get this thing. You're a damn wizard. But anyway, we got all that stuff done, and that's a pretty straightforward job. It kind of sucks underneath the dash, but no big deal for the most part. Just remember, guys, to use line wrenches anytime you're around brake lines. I don't care, you use line wrenches even if it's loose, okay? Just go ahead and use them. If you get to a point where I am and somebody has rounded off the head of the bolt, the head of the nut, then you need to just go ahead, do whatever you got to do and get that thing off. So I have to resort to vice grips most of the time on mine. With that being said, now it's time to jump over to the condenser. Let's go ahead and get it done. The only thing left to do to the car is put window motors in, and I have the window motors over here. I'll go through the box and show you everything that we got, but I'm also going to put some door speakers in, as I mentioned before. So we need to wait until we can do it all at one time, because I'd hate to put the motors in and put it all back together and then my speakers come in. So outside of that, we are done with this car. Everything's working real good. There is one weird thing with it. It's right back to showing hot on the gauge. So here's my theory with this on this car. I think the gauge is so sensitive that now that the car is probably running warmer with the AC, it's shooting up to hot. And it's got that typical issue of whenever you turn the AC on or off, it either drops or rises. So we did put new universal joints in the car and I forgot to film. So I do apologize, but nothing really there. Ordered a bunch of stuff from LMR, so let's go ahead and check out what we got here. All right, in this box we have caster camber plates, which will be put on probably tomorrow. Oh yeah, a lower radiator hose for the retro Fox. Our window motors. Door hinge pins, which sucks, but the Calypso does need a new pin, so I just went ahead and ordered a kit. An upper supercharged slash boosted radiator hose. This is the hard metal piece. As you can hear, it's just black. Our radiator hose right now is pretty much laying on the alternator, so this will fix that. Got it in black. And then just a shorty little antenna. So what I'll do is come back out, finish up all this other stuff, and we'll go for a ride along in the car, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. Does it actually make a difference? And I'll be honest with you guys. Does it put a smile on my face? Does it make me feel better to drive the car? Well, it's officially hot in South Alabama today. It's gonna be like 85 degrees today in February, guys. This is ridiculous. All right, so with all that being said, this is a new day. It's Sunday now. I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I did drive the car last night, just up to the store. My brother jumped in there with me, and I was not impressed. So I'm just gonna let you know that now. I'm gonna probably order a set of rotors and brake pads for the car. You can tell that the booster's working, but the car just still doesn't stop good. So I think it's gonna come down to brake pads and rotors. So I'll probably get a set of cross-drilled slotted rotors and some Hawk pads like I did on the Calypso. But regardless of all that, I'll still give you my driving impression of the car, because a lot of stuff did change for the better so far. So today we're gonna run our AN line for our oil separator over here, for our catch can, if you will. So these are the Anderson Ford Motorsport valve covers. They already have the bung in there for you. But now what we need to do is hook this up so that that thing's not venting the atmosphere, because it will sling stuff out. So I will show you one time again how I cut my AN line. A lot of people do it differently, but I'll show you how I do mine. So I'm not gonna be that guy that tells you that you have to use AN line or nothing. You can use rubber hose for this if you'd like. I'm just running AN line just so it looks a little better and should last a lot longer. So that's why we're doing this. But you absolutely do not have to do that. Save your money, run some rubber line, do whatever you gotta do, guys. So I don't know if you can see this, but I put a silver mark right here with my little paint marker. That's about how long I want the line. So what I do here is just straddle that line with my tape and then cut it right through the center. So I use masking tape. Some people use zip ties. You can use electrical tape. You want to pull it pretty tight, and you don't want to go any more than 2 revolutions, in my opinion, because it starts to get so big and bulky that the fitting doesn't want to slide over. So always use protection, guys, because these hoes be trifling. So what we're gonna do is just cut right down through the center of this. And you don't want to pull on this line, by the way. Just hold it. Just like that. Now, if you're using this method, you've got to blow your line out. Use some compressed air. I don't care what you use. Run water through it, doesn't matter. But let's see if we can get anything to come out of this. See that? That's why you need to clean these, especially if it's going to be like gas line. You have to clean that out or it'll clog your injectors up instantly. I'll tell you guys something else that not a lot of people talk about is the bigger the AN line, the easier it is to work with, up to a certain point. Dash 12 and dash 10, dash 8 is way easier than dash 6. So look at this. See? You can't argue with success, guys. If it works, it's not stupid. There you go. You just want to bottom that out right there. Now I use a little bit of WD-40, so let me go grab some of that. You just want to hit the inside with a little WD-40 and tighten these down. And if you're worried about everything staying pretty, which I completely understand if you are, you can always wrap a little electrical tape or masking tape or anything that you've got around the fitting. If you have a vise, this really helps out. And also, if you don't have AN wrenches, which I don't, you can just do something like this. A couple of rounds of tape like that. It's not pretty, but it works. And there you go, no damage. All right, and there you go, that's one valve cover done. All that's left to do now is run the other line from over there to here. So I'm gonna put it in there. I'll show you guys the finished product. Ooh. Guys, we almost messed up. We almost burned the car down. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. Me and Papa T, actually, it's so funny. Literally this morning we were on the phone talking about battery cables and them being too tight and the problems that that can cause. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys right now, I'm gonna do a separate video about this, but don't tighten your battery cables down as tight as you can get them. Don't. I don't care what anybody tells you. Hear me out right now. You need sometimes to be able to get your battery cable off. So do not tighten your cable down so tight that you can't get it off by hand. I know that goes against probably everything that you've ever been taught or whatever the case may be. Tighten it up enough where it makes a connection so that you can pull it off. We'll talk about this whole fiasco in an upcoming video. So anyway, we've installed our SVE caster camera plates over here on this side, and now I'm going to move over to this side. Now I have videos out about how to install these things, so I really don't want to go through the whole process again, so I'll probably just link a video here or here, wherever it is, so you guys can see that. It's been a busy 2 days, and I'm going to call it quits right here. The only thing left to do to the Carbon Fox at this point is to put window motors and speakers in. We'll probably do a separate video on that, or either I'll include it in another video. With all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and drive the car, come back and wrap this up, and let me tell you if I feel a difference in this car, and if it just makes me smile more than it did before all these changes. Let's go. Also, I added another degree of timing. Guys, if you don't believe me when I say this car does not have a lot of timing in it, check this out. It had 8.5 degrees of timing in boost. That's it. Now this is on the C-level table. Now we have just one more degree of timing is what I added, 9.5, and we should be good to go. So we're gonna try the car out with a little bit of extra timing. I will go ahead and tell you I'm not that satisfied with the brakes, guys. Check this out. That's just not good, so I'm not happy with that right off the bat. So the brakes are absolutely horrible on this car. If I'm being honest with you, they feel worse than they did. Also, I fixed the exhaust where it was rubbing on the gas tank back there, so hopefully we don't have that vibration anymore. I'm loving this AC. I'll go ahead and tell you guys now. Like, I have no pedal. This is horrible. The vibration again. See, the gauge is showing that we're hot, but the car is actually only at 186 degrees, which is perfectly fine. So to wrap this video up, the car drives so much better than it did, but the brakes still suck. So I'm starting to think that it's a vacuum issue, because if I look at the gauge and it's somewhere around 15 to 20 inches of vacuum and I hit the brakes, they seem to work really good. So we may need some type of vacuum booster for this car, because that cam is fairly large, I guess you could say. Doesn't create a lot of vacuum. Definitely running warmer than it was, and I don't like that. So I guess it would have helped if I would have tightened my fittings up first. Yeah, you know what, it's always something. So we work through all of our issues. To be honest with you, this wasn't as nice of an experience as I thought it was going to be. I really hoped that all these little things that I did to the car was really just going to transform it. It did, and it didn't. So there's still a few things left that need to be done. The car needs an alignment. We need to now situate this cooling issue. So, you know, here's what I want to say, guys. Although this didn't work out perfectly, although I'm not just ecstatic over the overall effect of everything that we did, it's absolutely worthwhile, and it's what we have to do. You know what? This could have been a dead ringer. You know, I could have done all this, still over there smoking. I could have done all this stuff and this car been great, but my luck, it's just not this time. That's all right. Remember though, guys, regardless of this outcome, it is extremely important that you fix all these little things with your car so that it's more fun to drive. Obviously, I've still got some work to do, but I'm that much closer to getting it right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. And as always, thanks for watching.